spotless.
I'm gonna guess it's done.
Andrew Matthew, hang up the decorations. Ruby Georgia, finish the laundry. And everybody else, just start cleaning.
Okay, thank you for those videos. So, I am going to get things rolling here. I am going to start things off myself as the sacrificial poet, just so we can get this flow going and you can have an example of how things are going to go today, okay? So, I have not been feeling well, so I've got my notes with me today and not my memory, so bear with me. And before I start my poem, I just wanted to give everybody a little trigger warning. I talk about mental health, so just take care of your tender hearts while I do this. This is an open letter to the brokenhearted, to humans with big dreams that never quite got started. An open letter to those with mood swings, those who are depressed, an open letter to those who feel they don't know how to be themselves, but they know that something is repressed. An open letter to those who feel like they don't fit in, not just in this big wide world, but even with their own kin. An open letter to those who have ever doubted their worth, and especially to those who have felt like taking themselves off this earth. An open letter to those who are confused and lost, who try to flow with the status quo, but at what cost? An open letter to those who thought they were going to lead this otherworldly, extraordinary life, but in the day-to-day feel not better than ordinary. I see you, I feel you, I am you. Someone once told me, don't write in your pain. Hindsight will be able to give you the platform to explain. I've seen and learned and heard enough from people who have told me about how they weathered the storm, about how they came out the other side in better, stronger form. But I want to hear from someone who knows how heavy it is right now. From somebody who doesn't really know how to get through it. You cry and you try and you cry some more. You might get so enraged to your core that the only way to feel better is to grab a drink or a toke to stop the internal war. I don't know when you'll feel better. I don't know when I'll feel better. But I know about hope. And I think when you're brokenhearted and you're ready to give up instead of show up, more powerful than love is hope. When nothing makes sense, when the tears fill your eyes, when things feel unchangeable, hope. Esperanza. I see you, I feel you, I am you. Thank you. Awesome, okay. So I'm going to just move into some of the more rules. I know I went over a couple things, introduce our fabulous judges. So the judges are going to be scoring the poems on a rubric between 1 and 5, and we will do half points. So we have the heroic Mr. Head as one of our judges. The loquacious Mrs. Langford. The literary giant, Mrs. Leonard. And I hope I don't butcher the pronouncing of your principal's last name, but the brave Mr. Bruno. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, so just to go over, for the poets, they know there's no props allowed. Your voice and your words, again, we're going to snap when those lines resonate with us, a quiet go-in poem, a hand over the heart, a sigh. We're respecting our poets by paying attention. We're not on our phones. And then after each poet goes, I'm going to check in with the judges, and we'll get the scores and keep it rolling. You all ready? Woo! Okay. So the first poem today is titled Times A-Changin', and it's going to be performed by Jada, Faye, and Ashley Lou.
Is it okay if I move this down a bit? Sorry, or else it's just like up in my face. That's okay. Maybe I'll just point it down. That's totally fine.
Okay.
Sorry about it. Oh. Okay, so.
Ready?
Dear grad class of 22, this one's for you. Dear grade 3 self. Trust me, the homework you're getting right now isn't the hardest thing in the world, so just enjoy the class parties and all of the field trips. Dear grade 4 self, FSAs aren't the hardest test you'll ever have to take. Stop trying to grow up so fast. Have fun still being a kid. Dear grade 5 self, I know that this is a safe school that you grew up in and you might think you're older and wiser, but middle school is going to teach you otherwise. What happened to us in elementary school? We didn't care about a single thing. We wore jeggings and gumboots, leopard print and neon shorts and skirts. We didn't care what we wore. We never swore. We always talked instead of snapping. We didn't want to miss a single second of playing outside with our friends. Did they change or did I? We had class parties for every holiday season. Now we don't even hand out Valentine's Day cards. Next thing you know, we're graduated. You're on your own. You're at the grocery store by yourself, not in the baby seat of the shopping cart with your parents anymore. You go from seeing your friends a little too often to almost never at all. And now we're too cool for spirit days. More worried about tests and essays. Weekends are no longer for playing with your friends. They're for homework and watching Netflix inside. Inside, with nobody around, just your phones. No wonder we lack social skills. School is more about marks and memorization. Now people tell us all the time, these are going to be the best 4 years of your life. So why does it feel like those already passed? They passed when we weren't worried. When we weren't worried about marks or drama. So why is it that we're always so worried? The good old days, when we would actually press the buttons on a remote to turn on the screen. Now it's something as easy as a tap, we're blinded by a bright beam. Last I remember, we had to go searching for a channel. Now we did arts and crafts for every season. Now we get yelled at for no reason. What happened to all of the field trips? Now we're trying to avoid a hallway apocalypse. And all we want is something that we learned. And remember when we learned about primary colors? We always needed our mothers. And now all we crave is summers. Remember when we got excited about simple things? Maybe a ring. Swing. Even a string. We always sprinted out at recess. At least for the swing sets. Traded snacks for more or less. And we were never overdressed. We were always ready for a quest. Those relationships were fun. We married our best friends. With a shake of a hand. But now it's all over and done. Our teacher is talking about our futures. But this time with no humor. Why are we always so serious? Get a good education. Get a good paying job. Why can't life go back to being simple? Learning about the ABCs. Multiplying and adding with our fingers. While using our thinkers. I miss that. All of that. The hand games. The recess. The swing sets. Birthday parties. Our friends. Where did all that go? Am I ready for my next years? Or will my stress take over me? Will I even make it? Grade 11. It's coming, there's no avoiding it, unfortunately, so get ready to pack up and leave everything behind. Now I'm in grade 12. I feel like it's all a joke. Are you joking with me right now? It's all coming to an end? Am I even ready? I don't know if I'll ever be, but whether I like it or not, these are all going to be distant memories. Graduation, walking across the stage. Was it all worth it? I guess we'll see. Waving at my family, seeing my friends smile and cry, reminds me of when we all used to be so shy. Now we're older. Stronger. Wiser. Better. Cheers, G22. We made it. G22. This is for you.
Okay, we started it off with a bang. Judges, we need some scores. Okay, I've got a 4.3. A 4.3, a 4.1, and a 4.9. Do we think they deserve a higher score, folks? Yeah. I'm sorry, this was something I forgot to mention. My bad, everyone. If we do not agree with the judges' scores, like your peers just instigated, we can protest for higher scores, okay? All right, so we're going to move on to our next poet. This poem is called Stars and Shining Rocks, and it is by Adam.
Can we hear me? We're good? Okay. Stars and shiny rocks. The secret to finding happiness and truth. I once met this girl who was fascinated with space just like me. You see, ever since I was in kindergarten, I always wanted to be an astronaut. You know, learn more about what's out there, explore the cosmos, etc. So that's what I thought when I met this girl. However, just like a horoscope, I was completely wrong. Now, let's call this girl the most gullible, dumbest mother... Actually, you know what? Let's just call her Jane. Now, while some people enjoy sports or fashion or going to the gym, Jane was fascinated with something else. What's your astrology sign? She asked. I'm sure we can all secretly snicker and confess that we all know our signs, but we certainly don't truly believe them, right? Oh no. What did I get myself into? You see, astrology signs are like the white version of fortune cookies. Okay, bad example, but you get the idea. The signs supposedly give a deeper meaning to life, but they're so vague that they can apply to anyone or anything. According to mine, I'm creative and kind, and that my strongest element is water at 35%, but is it because I'm so cold and drippy, or is it because this is some BS? I've always wondered if there's some deeper meaning to this, so I decided to do some investigative research, consulting the deep and dark archives. Tumblr. So there's 12 personalities based off the months of the year. They're all different, some are compatible, and some are not. So what you're telling me is that my entire personality is based off 9 months prior when my parents decided to get busy? How can you believe this? On top of this, did you know that your actions can be based off the position of the moon? Today, the moon is in the warning phase, bringing compassion and deep feelings. Let's collect our moon water. I've come to the conclusion that people who believe in astrology are basically just werewolves. It's also stupid how these so-called astrologists, or whatever you want to call them, believe it's a legitimate excuse. Your Honor, I testify that my impulsive actions are because I'm an Aquarius. You are convicted of armed robbery, 10 counts of battery, and tax fraud. It's very hard to judge a book by its cover, but it's very hard when the book cover judges you. It's diabolical how stupid this is, so as my final complaint, let me read to you my horoscope of the day. Reach out and explore nature. Feel the aura around you and manifest these thoughts. You'll experience a decrease in intelligence and mental capacity if you listen to what I'm saying. Now, if you're asking, Adam, that's made up, it's because, yeah, they all are. Thank you.
Okay. Adam has been burnt by a woman who loves horoscopes before. Judges, can we see some scores? I don't know. They can't go much higher. Awesome. Thank you, Adam. Woo. Okay. Our next slam is titled If I Were a Poet, and it will be performed by Sydney Forsyth.
A little bit taller than everyone else. I wish I was a poet. That sounds strange to say because I'm up here, but it's true. I wish I was a poet, and I'd be a poet just for you. I wish I was a poet because verbs and nouns are merely just words and sounds to me. Words seem to fumble and stumble when I wish they would, well, I guess not do that. I don't know how to rhyme a line. My words have never been witty or divine. Poets have a talent, you see, with only words, a whole story they can design. If I could design, I would sew my words. They'd be the finest whispering silver silk stitched together by my compliments for you. Instead, my words are sloppy stitch work, words that rip at the seam, clunky words that choke at my throat and clog up my sewing machine. If I was a poet, I would tell you about how your voice reminds me of the blue skies and how your eyes remind me of an angel's melody. If I were a poet, my words wouldn't have mixed there, they would have been proper and fixed. If I was a poet, I would be your Orpheus. I would follow you to the gates of hell. Our heart beats the rhythm that echoes on its walls. But unlike your history, I wouldn't let you down. Rivers, sticks, and stones may it break my bones, but I would never let you drown. I don't know if there's a God out there, and I don't know if they exist, but I insist that if they do, they say, damn, I did good, whenever they look upon you. God, I wish I was a poet, because then I can tell you about how every puzzle has a missing piece, and I would look under the couch, but I know you'd be too tall to hide under there. I would tell you about how all my paintings are missing its color, and how every color of blue reminds me of you, but every blue is dull in comparison. I would tell you the ache I feel when you're gone, and I would tell you how the ache is gone when you're there. I would tell you how I ache to tell you about everything and about nothing. I would tell you how our silence still dances its own melody, a melody that I'm too afraid if I break, I might lose this friendship that I have at stake. But I don't speak the language of lullabies with my every breath. I'm stuck as a stuttering mess, stitching missing beats into a messy dress. And maybe if I was a poet, I could tell you that I love you. I never got the chance to experience love in my past, but I want to experience my future with you. I'm not a poet. I love you. And that's why I won't ever be your poet. For you have found a poet before my words could reach your ears. You have found a poet before I had the chance to become one.
Well, okay, Sydney, making me feel all sorts of things. Thank you. Okay, judges, scores for If I Were a Poet. Pardon? Oh, sorry. Okay, we've got a 4.8, a 4.8, a 4.9, and a 4.8. Woo! Okay, we're gonna keep rolling. We have the title of the poem is called Life Questions, and it will be performed by Megan Smith.
Today I am 6,482 days old, which is 925 weeks, 212 months, making me 17.8 years old. Old? No. 17.8 years sold. Sold into an existence, sold into a body, sold into a space. But what am I doing here? It's like I woke up one day and without questions I knew my name and my place. Go to school for 13 years, then I'll graduate with my future at stake. University's worth the time. If I don't go, I'll never thrive. Instead, I'll work a 9 to 5 and hate my life. I'll be fine. In all honesty, though, make all the money I can so I don't go broke. I'll cope. Cope with the pressures, cope with the pain, cope with everyone telling me to go a different way, because if it's ever too much, TV will offer me a break. So what? That's all? Live a life we will never recall, fall into the belief that you'll get by if you do as you're told. But I wonder, is there more to this cycle than growing old? Leaving behind everything we've ever owned, I need to know. Now, this might sound depressing. It's not. I'm just stressing. I want answers to my worries, truths I'm not guessing. How did I get here? What is my purpose? What happens after we die? Do we lay in darkness, or is there another side? Because I'm starting to believe that YOLO's a lie. They say, don't think about that. It's not important or practical. There's no meaning to this life, our existence simply natural. But I just won't believe that's the end of the story. I'm sorry. Call it a myth, but let me ask you this. How could this world be created by none when everyone knows 0 plus 0 cannot equal 1? Did you create yourself, or was it someone else? For we are beings of poise and elegance, with brains of supreme intelligence. We are magnificent, superlative. To come from nothing don't make sense. We are makers, creators, form systems of legislators. We build planes that let us fly, and some of us can save lives. Yet no matter how hard we try, we could never create a single fruit fly. There is evidence after evidence standing in plain sight, yet we still deny someone first said, "Let there be light." Now, you don't have to agree with what I say, but there's one last thing I'd like to state. We can believe in the Big Bang, but I'd rather believe in he who caused it to detonate.
Okay, I don't even know what to say. That was so good, and I have some of the same questions that you do. Okay, judges, scores for life questions. A 5, 4.8, 4.9, and 4.95. Amazing. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna keep moving right along here, folks. Next up, we have Paige Duma, I hope I pronounced that right, with the poem, Does It Even Matter?
Now I have to lead with that. Great. Okay. I'll paint you a picture. I was sitting in a cafe pondering the life of human existence and the reasoning for behind all of us. You know, as you do on a regular Sunday when you should be doing chemistry.
Asking the question, what would happen if people were gone?
One day, finally forced to disappear, most likely from ourselves, from some stupid mistake we all decided to make, we, the bane of Earth's existence, are finally gone. But birds will still sing and rivers will still run. Trees will still be rustling under the morning sun. No cars being driven or streetlights being used. No students being taught or schools being perused. No wars being fought or bombs being diffused. People are gone. Earth is finally quiet of the chaos, but we still lurk. With tombstones for memories only people could leave. Oceans filled with plastic, forests left turned down. Air left polluted and the soil left trashed still sits here without us. Healing after finally curing this deadly disease. But we boast ourselves on how we will never die. But who will be the ones to remember after we all say goodbye? Those photos of fun that will still be left behind, but no one will be there to embrace our prime. Our silent ponderings for life itself, as I am doing now, will be a waste. No longer a necessity to put our minds at ease because death made haste. This cafe where I sit will stay empty. No cups will be filled with coffee and no worker behind the counter who is an obvious trainee. But maybe the wind will remember the songs people sing, or the laughs that always seem to hang, or our passion-filled hatred that always leaves a bang. Maybe the dirt will remember the footprints people left in the mud on a rainy day, or the games we all used to play, or me in this little cafe. But does it matter anyway? We are her now, and shouldn't that be enough? Because it doesn't matter that our time might be spent up. Does it matter if someone even remembers us? Does it really matter that we left behind all this stuff? Do we even matter? Probably not.
Okay, thank you so much, Paige. Okay, we would like to see the judges' scores for Does It Even Matter? We've got a 4.5, a 4.5, a 4.6, and a 4.7. Okay. Next to grace the stage is Lucas Hendricks with a poem titled The Final Hour.
Peep through the door. It seems as though the grass was much greener before. The dead life has washed upon the seashore. Money and greed diluted what is truly pure, and yet our flesh keeps reaching out for more. Now you're trapped. A hole in the ozone about to make the world collapse. Pollution fills the airs and minds with bullet-twisted facts. Midnight is now upon us. People's righteous laws are coming back. Don't turn your head away because you can't get away. Your mind is lost because your spirit has been led astray. So don't say you gave it all if you ain't gave it all. Just faded in the hazy purple twilight. No more time. I tried to warn you all. It's now approaching midnight. Panic's in the air. Some people jumping out of buildings, others on their knees in prayer. Some look up to the sky and yell that they aren't quite prepared. You looked God in the face and said, "Forgive me." All he did was stare. Now, you can run, but where are you going to hide from all the powers of the sun? The repercussions of what humankind has done. No understanding of the fullness. Everything is simply one. Soon to be none again so that new life can come again. Your mind... Illusions rule your mind. Your soul is never going to end. So just don't say you gave it all if you ain't ever gave it all. Just faded in the hazy purple twilight. No more time. I tried to warn you all. It's now approaching midnight. So I bid farewell. No more good times nor bad times. No more heaven, no more hell. Complete and total darkness, all you are left is to dwell. There are only seconds left you'd like to second guess. But through your foolish ways, you have literally beckoned death. So just don't say you gave it all if you ain't never gave it all. Just faded in the hazy purple twilight. No more time. I tried to warn you all. It's now approaching midnight.
Thank you so much, Lucas. I'm going to be hearing those words as I watch it click midnight tonight. Okay, judges, let's see some scores. We've got 4.9, a 4.7, 4.75, and 4.8. Thank you. Okay, we're going to keep things rolling along. Everyone's good? We're all feeling good? Okay. So, our next poem is titled A Letter to Our Leader, and it is by Remy Kirster.
Don't ask me to measure the length of my skirt when you refuse to acknowledge countless women being hurt by the rules you create, condone, and enforce. The rules that you are approving, they keep getting worse. You think of women like objects? I object. Stop telling me to cover up and teach your sons about consent and respect and some basic common sense, because my bra strap showing doesn't mean you can get in my pants. And a lot of these men are the ones in politics. You're supposed to run the country, but you lost control of all of it because you don't really care about the people you rule over. You just like the power that you hold when you're controlling us. Keep your eyes off my chest and your laws off my body, the body that you use as a target of your misogyny. All we're asking for is our bodily autonomy. The freedom of anti-feminist hate speech is freer than I will ever be. The dreams I had as a little girl will never be, because I live as a girl in a world that's out to get me. How am I supposed to be the change when I'm scared of not being taken as seriously as the men who are paid twice as much as me? As the men who think nothing of harassing and touching me, of the men who the government refused to find guilty. Your laws state that it's okay to force a child to have a baby, but I'm in the wrong for being attracted to ladies. It's okay to blame abuse and rape on intoxication, but self-defense methods are illegal across the nation. Our safety is fading, and you're eradicating the hopes for a future that's accommodating, a basic human rights. What right do you have to tell me what I can or can't do? It's sad to think that women's rights are seen as nothing more than a political issue. So this is a letter to our leaders, and I hope it finds you well, but give us back our human rights or go straight to hell.
Well, okay, Remy. She said it, not me. Thank you. Okay, let's see some scores. Judges, we've got a 4.7, 5, 4.9, and 4.5. Awesome, awesome. Okay. Whew. That one, I feel like we all just need a minute. That was so much. I loved it. Okay. Grounding. Next up, we have Lena Segrist. Did I pronounce your last name right? Okay, yes. And their poem is titled My True Self. So welcome, Lena.
Fit in a box, they said. Be like everyone else, they said. You couldn't be different. They only wanted perfect people in their society. Never be like those sinners. They will rot in hell for their sins, they told us. To people we should look up to and learn from told me that I need to fit in that box. I didn't want to fit in that box. I knew I didn't fit in that box. I tried to be good, but I was just so misunderstood. Misunderstood by the people around me, friends and peers, relatives and family, teachers and instructors. The laughter of children can be heard around me, laughing at me. The kids my age had phones or were trying to be teenagers. I still want to be a child because growing up scared me. I feel isolated, ostracized from people. The loneliness got to me and took over. The world lost its colors. The darkness in my head like dark clouds in a storm, raging winds and rain, flowing like my tears. No one told me what that feeling was because feeling different was frowned upon. Back home, you didn't get taught about mental health. I have never seen a therapist because I don't feel like my feelings matter. There's other people out there with bigger problems. You don't really matter, I tell myself, because I was taught that my mental health doesn't matter. People look down on me for how I'm feeling and who I love. I didn't ask to be born like this. I didn't ask to be born into this world. I felt like I didn't deserve to be myself, to show my true self. The self-diagnosed imposter syndrome I have felt for years, I still feel that today because of the events I was put through. I know I'm only talking about myself now, but you can ask so many students and children of my generation back home and they will all tell you the same as I. We all have trauma, not just to start drama, but because we are hurting. Our whole life consists of drama because of how the generations before us have shaped this world and their choices. But I can finally say I love myself. I can finally say I'm proud of myself. I can finally say I'm happy to be myself. Since I have been here, these dark storms have turned into soft rain showers. The sun is coming through, and I will gladly show my rainbow.
Thank you, Lena. Thank you for sharing yourself. I'm proud of you. Okay, judges, let's see some scores. We have 4.6, 4.6, 4.6, and a 4.4. Thank you. Okay. Ooh, we've got another dynamic duo for our next poem. So, Alex and Elise with Pink and Blue.
Hey, hey, Riverside!
I'm Pink.
And I'm Blue.
The two genders represented in front of you.
We are more different than you may first believe, but our biggest similarity is...
We hate homophobia. So true.
Now, if I don't hold back from red, green, and black, to be exact, I'm the best color in the crayon pack. It's a fact that the other shades say looking whack while I attack, representing all of Crayola whack. I am usually ruling. Now, let's get back on track. Because indubitably, yours truly will be at the front of the almanac.
Respectfully, I'm going to have to disagree. Although blue is the color of the Mediterranean Sea, pink is the shade of strawberry ice cream, still Neapolitan is the best color scheme. A rose is the most beautiful flower easily, and despite my love for gelato, I've never been to Italy.
Now, I think you're getting it all mixed up. I think it may be twisted. Your pigment is malignant, and your rhymes, I think you missed it. You may be artistic, which gives you a clear edge when choosing the alleged color to pledge, but I got the maths to back mine up. I'll prove it to you. You must simply round up.
I can't write like William Shakespeare, but thou has hair like a cauliflower ear. These sonnets are falling like dominoes. Might as well be called the new Romeo. We all know that you love baguettes, but no one will ever be your Juliet. My iambic pentameter is getting hot. Feels like a midsummer's night on a yacht.
I have top-tier wordplay, a needle in the hay. Watch out, there's a simile coming your way. How you dress, it's a mess, like a withered bouquet. But in my humble opinion, I'd go with nay. Honestly, the whole entire getup makes me hurl like you're raised in a barn to be a horse girl.
You're pushing 2 meters tall, and that cannot be concealed, so ultimately you'd think that you'd be good at track and field. Long jump is a game of talent, it's not a game of chance, so how do you feel annoying that you disappointed Miss Rance?
We all know you're vegetarian and can't eat meat. It's truly a humbling feat to avoid such a treat, such a superb idea that makes that switch. But honestly, I just gotta say, you're such a positive influence upon this world.
Yeah, thank you, true, yeah. Your birthday is May the 12th, and mine is in September, so why didn't you get your N until like mid-December? Yes, it's been acknowledged that you have a blue SUV, but for the Kia Sportage, I wouldn't take it for free.
Getting COVID when we need to present makes me feel resent towards your freaking lament about the denting race for all things atypical. I'm a top-tier gent, while your fashion sense is criminal.
You wear the same thing every day. It's become a part of your routine. Come on, pay some taxes. You're literally 18. Maybe it's time for you to go and get employed, make some money, maybe lose the android.
Well, Blue, she flows like a hard-working ship crew, and honestly, she's such a precious gem of a hue. I don't know if she can truly be my lover. I think we may need to start seeing other colors.
Maybe Mr. Jones had it all right. His favorite color is a real delight. Although the Canucks are a horrible team, at least he painted the gym a Riverside green.
Okay, pink and blue, I see you. Thank you. Judges, scores. 4.9, 4.8, 4.85, and a 4.9. Higher. All right. That is how we do it, folks. Okay, next up, we have Jada Grant, and the poem is titled, Dear the Perfectionist Inside of Me. So let's give it up for Jada.
September 2018. Dear the perfectionist inside of me. I hope you don't mind, but I have a question for you. I need to know, why did you choose me? When you showed up, I lost myself on a hopeless road to please you, a road leading to a void I always feared I'd fall into, my world turned upside down. I was just wondering if you could help. We'll talk again soon. May 2019. I have another question. I need to know, what even is perfect? Undeniably, inexplicably perfect. What could a word like that, a word that searches my soul for any cracks, cracks that make me crumble into pieces, what could a word like that even mean? Every little imperfection haunts me as if nothing is quite in its place. Everything needs to be changed, improved, and adjusted to be perfect for you. I guess it's not that big of a deal. I'd just like to know how perfect makes you feel. March 2020. It's me. Again. There are still some things I need to know. I need to know, why is your opinion more important than mine? For everyone, perfect means something unique. Perfection for you may be beautiful, but for me it will never be found. It's like falling but never reaching the ground, an infinite journey to the impossible. I can feel your hate taking control of my actions, my words, my sanity. You may think this is best for me, but it's bringing out the worst in me. Between you and I, it is a never-ending fight, a constant struggle of chain reactions, breaking me down until I'm just a fraction of who I was before. It's like you have kidnapped my soul, but even once I'm free, I can feel your presence within me. If this isn't going to stop, some answers would be great, because right now all I'm receiving is hate from you and from myself. April 2021. I need to know how to get out of this state of being a failure instead of giving up learning how to fight. I need to know how to build a bigger, better, and stronger me where my version of perfect is flawed, and that's okay. January 2022. I finally realized I never needed anything from you. The only things I need to know, I can find out on my own. You didn't have to set me free. I had to take a risk and face reality. But now I can let go of you. I can let go of the perfectionist inside of me. Goodbye for now, and hopefully forever. Sincerely, me.
Thank you, Jada. Okay, judges, we need some scores for Dear the Perfectionist Inside of Me. We have 4.8, 4.8, 4.8. Give another round of applause to Jada. All right. I will not attempt to pronounce the next poet's last name because I will butcher it. So we have Sarah G up next, and the poem is titled Mature.
Okay. During my childhood, I was often told that I was mature for my age. This was a statement that I never really questioned, as this role of responsibility that I fell into at a young age had felt natural to me. But now, at 17, it feels like I've aged in reverse. It's as if my maturity is consistently getting worse and worse. This responsibility I fell into at a young age feels simply grow up too quickly, because at 12 years old, I felt as competent in budgeting as someone with infinite lives, such a hyper-awareness of money that I have come to despise. And although this has been a useful element that I have taken away, the other things that I acquired at this age, well, they did not do the same. For although budgeting skills were useful, they came with an unwanted side of worry. And when I ordered budgeting from the counter, I told the employee I did not want to make it a combo, but I guess they gave it to me anyways. I'm mature for my age, you tell me, but really I was thrown into responsibility too quickly. Mitski says it best, now I find I've grown into a tall child, and this summarizes exactly how I feel. At 17 years old, my inner child is finally starting to reveal, for the independence I possessed at a young age has now transmuted into a dependence on validation. I feel as though I have become a nauseating creation. It's as if I have become everything I never wanted to be. Growing up so quickly has transformed me into my own worst enemy. And and I wonder if this is because at that young age, I became the person the people around me needed, only this thing they needed was the exact thing that I despised. Tell me, how was I supposed to be and hate a person at the same time? And because my childhood and my adulthood have been swapped, it looks like I will have to live with the fact that a true childhood will never be unlocked. I guess my outer appearance and my inner self will always be juxtaposed, but hey, at least I do have some pretty solid budgeting skills, I suppose.
Okay, thank you so much, Sarah. Judges, scores for mature, 4.7. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna keep rolling here. Next, we have Nikki Pittman, and their poem is titled Addiction.
Quick little trigger warning. I talk about addiction, so yeah. Also, shout out Miss Tay. All right. Spending hundreds of my hard-earned money as I think about it day and night, making my head numb, but damn, does it make me feel relaxed. I can't think, or I think I do, but I'm usually just on autopilot. Tesla. I take a deep breath. I'm shaking. Everyone watches me. Several people are watching. I'm getting cold feet as I feel my palms getting sweaty. Big. I clutch it in my hands. I gain the motivation. Everyone watches me. My knees are buckling. I'm shaking in my boots. It's my first time. I've never done anything like it before, and little did I know. Before I knew it, it would be a war I'd be a part of and the start of my addiction. I pick it up. It's cold to the touch, but as I see all my friends do it, I gain the motivation. I'm no longer scared, but I'm scarred. I'm excited. It's a new experience that will forever be a part of my life. I got the resources from the gang, so I'm confident. Head up, about to enter battle. His name was Zhao Zhao Meat Bun 6. I scouted his place out before I picked up my soon-to-be loot, then sent in my troops. So I began my clan raid. As a wise Playboy Cardi once said, walk up with my shooters. What it do? Meet me in the alley with the troops. I got red shooters, archers. I got blue wizards. I fill up on purple drink that give me more energy. Rage spell. I don't know if I fly high or stay grounded. Brother! I'm a Klansman. Shout out to the Scarman Pepe Murder. That's the clan, by the way. Join it. Used to play with dragons. Now I place my miners maxed out. I'm getting assaulted. He's casting spells on me. I'm frustrated, so I venture into capitalist. Shout out Pepe Murder! Good to clan! Good to clan! Yeah! Good to clan!
Okay, thank you, Nikki. The fit and the words don't quit. Okay, let's get some scores from our judges. We have 4.9, 4, 4.5, and 3.9. Thank you. Okay. So much excite. Let's come back to the room. So next up, we have Megan Simpson, and the poem is titled Love's Difficult.
I have to. Can I use this one? Do I have to follow that? Also, this is too. I don't know how to use a mic. This is too far away. I'm gonna yell at you guys. I'm so sorry. Okay. Maybe I have said this 1,000 times. Each a broken promise for 100 crimes accumulated over a lifetime of pain. But all I have for you is one word. A word spoken as tears roll down sweet cheeks, leaving streaks of starlight across the sky. A word spoken to dry throats in desperation for forgiveness. A word spoken with hands clasped, shaky, sweating, seeking atonement from an unforgiving God. So overused to the point of nothing. Empty relationships, of meaningless gestures and hidden feelings. Broken speeches. So look at me. I am bleeding on the floor on my knees, so please just look at me. I ask myself, do my words still have strength? Can you find it in yourself to listen to me one more time? If my actions never reflect my words, if I am a person stuck in a cycle of hurt, would it still be okay if I was never cured? clarity or charity that keeps you around when you know that our love is dying out? Because when I first came to you, I was but a sprout, withering in my filth, crying in the night, knowing that I will never be enough. So I must know, why do you keep coming back to me? When there's a sickness inside of me, I will never be more than skin and bones. And I don't seek sympathy, but I see it in your eyes every single time you look at me. Because each time you look at my eyes, I cannot sit at the table because I have a new label. I will never be enough. Too fat, too ugly, too messed up to ever be good enough. I have allowed this disorder to eat us alive, and now we must survive, even if most days I want to die. Shatter my heart, break my soul, kill my mind. Who can disappoint who first? That is the game that we play. But I don't want to push play. Just give me a day, one day to be free, away from the calories, the diets, the juice fast, and just let me disappear. Because most days I can't even stand to be in the same room as my peers. Maybe that's just because I'll never be enough. So pull me away from this world, because the pull of the reaper rings true in my ears. For every day I don't leave my bed, and all the words that will go unsaid, I only have one word that can mend. But I know my words are empty, written in sorrow, because nothing can fix my mistake when I made you beg before I left for the hospital. So please, listen. I know I threw away food, starved my body, so I write these lines in hopes that my words are enough, because I can't find the missing piece. I don't know why. I just can't stop. Breathe in for 3 and out for 7. Isn't that what the doctor said? But I am out of control, and therapy makes no sense with upstairs brains and downstairs brains. But maybe it's because I never tried enough to be enough. All the scars on my arms were carved by me, even though you blame yourself for my mistakes. When I left a hole in your heart and a hole in the wall, but I just can't understand your love for me. So please, just listen as I send this final message. Mom and Dad, I'm sorry.
Thank you so much, Megan. We're going to get some scores from the judges. We have 4.8, 4.9, 4.9, and 4.8. Okay, so I just wanted to let all you folks know that this is the last poet for this block, and you all need to look to your teachers just to see where you're going and what the plan is. And one more round of applause for all the poets that went.
Do you know if we're allowed to use the bathroom quickly?
Yes, go to the left. Go ahead.
So this is where we are.
Oh my god, I was like disappeared.
So Brayden and Graham.
Okay, what's good, Riverside High? Everybody's feeling good? Awesome. Okay, I'm not sure if there's some faces in here that have already seen me, but for those who don't know, I am Fanny, and I am a poet, and I'm going to be emceeing your slams this afternoon. So, before we get going, I just want to acknowledge where we are and the land that we are on. We are on the traditional territories of the Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, and Squamish First Nations. We honor all of our ancestors and all of the relations that have happened on these lands before we got here. I also wanted to make an acknowledgement of our stolen sisters, one particularly, Chelsea Poorman. And if you don't know who that is, please Google her name after this is over. I would also like to acknowledge that I grew up and went to high school on Treaty 4 territories. So, to get things rolling, before we move into the slam and slam etiquette, we are going to begin with short films from Mr. Schoenhall's film class. The films that you are going to see are the winners from the District Youth Film Festival. So, let's give them a round of applause.
Hello? Hi, sweetie, we're at the store. Did you all clean and decorate like our house? We sure did. It looks great. Okay, I'm gonna be home by 6. We'll see you then. Okay, sounds great. See you soon. Bye. All right, listen up. Mom's gonna be here at 6, and she expects all those decorations to be up and the entire house to be spotless.
How are we gonna get this done?
Andrew Matthew, hang up the decorations. Ruby Georgia, finish the laundry. And everybody else, just start cleaning.
Okay, another round of applause for Mr. Schoenhall's class. All right, so I'm just gonna go over slam etiquette, and then I shall sacrifice myself as the first sacrificial poet, and we're gonna get rolling so you can hear all your friends. So it was kind of a scary video, it was. So just a few notes about slam poetry. There's no props allowed. While the poets are speaking, if a line is hitting deep, we're gonna snap. We're gonna put our hand on our chest, a sigh, a quiet go in, poet, could be done. And then the judges, after each poet is done, they will score on a scale of 1 to 5. And if we are not into the judges' scores, then we just need to chant and bully them a bit. Higher, 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 okay? Advocate for your poets and their words. Before I do my poem, I'm just going to introduce your fabulous judges. So we have the heroic Mr. Head, give us a wave. We have the brave Mr. Bruno. Give us a wave. The loquacious Miss Langford. And the literary giant, Mrs. Leonard. So, I'm gonna go, and then we can get moving. I just wanted to give this poem a trigger warning. I am going to be discussing eating disorders, so just take care of your tender hearts as you listen. It always happened so fast. It was just like one of the past times, knew it wouldn't be one of the last times. Belly so hungry, appetite so vast, not so much for knowledge, but for any fix that stopped me from being harassed. What box to put me in, already labeled as outcast, typecast me for a role I couldn't play. And even I surpassed the lengths that I thought I would go to just to get through each wretched high school day. I was meticulous not to broadcast that on forecast for the next couple of years, I'd starve and binge and purge as to urge that there wasn't a space for this black body to exist with unconditional safety. Because the media told me if I could just get very, very small and not take up too much space at all, then maybe the world would be a little bit kinder to me, a little bit gentler to me. Maybe then I wouldn't constantly be put on blast. Maybe then I wouldn't constantly fear being chosen last, because then I might be better to fit the mold on what it was I had been sold. Was my bulimia a byproduct of oppression or a symptom of my depression? Or was it simply a painful expression of all the trauma in my body that my heart and brain could not yet name? And I never thought I'd be able to discuss this without shame. I am bulimic. I was bulimic. But I overcame, not all at once, over time, slowly, painfully, heartbreakingly beautifully, until I woke up one morning, both completely unaware and aware, I had answered my own prayer. I was healing and feeling my way back to my soul, my only and wonderfully made role. Why should I hide? Why should I be denied the safety and the space to share? The safety and the space for white people to care. Look at this face. Look at my face. Look at my race. Creamy, rich melanin. And let that sink in. that sometimes just existing feels like a sin. I may have been dying trying to become thin, but you know what was nourished? A Black woman learning how to love living in her own skin. Thank you. All right. We ready? We ready to hear these poets slam? Okay. We are going to start this off with Braden and Graham. Give it up.
This one. Okay. This one. Hello? Okay, let's go. Okay. Ready? Ready. All right. Let's have at it. It's been 29.
Years since Canadians have seen the cup shine.
29 years.
Since Lord Stanley could return home over American frontiers.
Nucks, Oilers, Flames, Sens.
These are the teams that came the closest to cleanse.
Cleanse the jinx.
The jinx put in place to keep the cup out of Canada's rinks.
Gary Bettman commits a crime.
Each time an American team steals the cup from one of mine.
He is the commissioner on a mission.
To tarnish Canada's apparition.
Officials are paid to keep the game fair.
But the money's really there to make the Canadians win rare.
The spirit of hockey is not in the South.
Which is why Gary Bettman's causing us such a drought.
Us Canadians have a strong hockey soul.
A soul that will cheer even when lacking in goals.
This is why Bettman is manipulating the game.
To give the casual flans a reason to exclaim.
The Americans will only cheer for a team that is succeeding.
So when the cup is in the north, Betty's money starts depleting.
See, it's not that long ago that the team of the Panthers
Was broke without fans and they were searching for answers.
in 2021 just add a little Bettman bias magic.
And the success of the team was nothing short of dramatic.
Sadly for you, the Habs won this year's lottery.
We figured you'd rig it for an American team with monotony.
The team that needed it most, you'd say it's Arizona.
Who's been struggling financially due to Corona.
Gary Bettman needs to open his eyes to see.
That the sport of hockey is about way more than just money.
It's 100 long years filled with tradition.
A league that survived 2 world wars and prohibition.
Inspired the kids, future generations of youth.
To come out and play the game and sacrifice bone and tooth.
Please, Gary, just stop making it about the profits.
Hopefully we convinced you with our rhymes and our sonnets.
Now at long last, and without further ado,
We have one last message just to review.
what our thoughts are on your actions that set the hockey league askew.
For all those years that you had us waiting in queue.
For all the refs paid off, and the linesmen too.
For all the times unfairly that a whistle was blue.
Us Canadians, we have something to say from up here in our igloos. Mr. Bettman, we despise you.
I don't know. It's almost like Braden and Graham like hockey or something. Okay, judges. Scores for Braden and Graham. 4.7, 4.7, 4.65, and 4.3. You gotta yell higher if you want those higher, folks. Let's go. Awesome. Okay, we're going to keep moving right along. Our next poem is titled Talk to Strangers, and it is by Kiana. You can come to the mic.
Last week I got invited to a party. But when I got the invitation, instead of elation, my brain focused on the dreaded communication. A room of random people rating me on my radiating energy? I'm trying to think positively, put my mind at ease, thinking of all the people I have to please. Maybe I just don't want people judging me. Consciously ruminating in my stream of solidarity, I must leave to hush the clashing currents of my mentality. Now I stand at the party silently. Afraid my clashing currents are easily seen. But the currents subside as they arrive, and oxytocin grows whimsical and alive, in the form of gleeful people, eager to be peaceful, eager to compliment, eager to live free of judgment with beaming contentment. She was ethereal, like a pixie, clumsy from her defined state of tipsy. She told us what beautiful souls we had. Beautiful souls, what beautiful souls, she said, repeating it like a memoir, like the epitaph on our tombstones. Her words were a beacon, but instead of shining onto stormy seas, it lit our Garden of Eden, altering our perspective to one we had forgotten. Auras of pink, blue, and tangerine, of vivid violets possessing virtuous personalities. Perspective is everything. Learning in others can be groundbreaking while faking a good time. 2 other strangers made an impact on me. We bonded over our social anxiety and like a daisy bloomed their individuality. The tides in their minds relieved as each trauma, idea, and dream was perceived. The next day, I walk of shame my way to the bus stop. Currents clashing, no way to unlock it, a phone corpse in my pocket. Instead of drowning in the sea of conscious mind, if not to me, to others I should be kind. A gentle giant with ice blue eyes sat silently beside me. Stranger danger, I remember hearing it over and over, but stranger danger stopped when he explained her. His ex-wives, children, overall reputation, I want to know about his tribulations. His perception of the world, I want to know yours. I want to converse clear-headed and childlike without a strike on open but cautious conversation. To ease the crashing tides, don't abide by the unwritten rule to say inside them. Don't hide them, just speak, for our beautiful souls are anything but bleak.
Okay, go off, Kiana. I'm here for that. Judges, Kiana's talk to strangers. We need scores. 4.85. 4.85. 4.85. Word. Okay. Ooh. We haven't seen this yet, folks. We've got 3 poets slamming down on this one. So I'm going to call Selena, Lucy, and Megan.
Yeah, we're good. Can we make this lower? Okay.
Just like tilt it.
Just tilt.
Down.
Yeah? Yeah. That's it's good. Okay. Make it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I like girls with natural makeup.
Oh, you're not wearing any makeup? Are you sick? You need to show off your body.
But cover up those shoulders. You don't want to distract him.
You should start working out. But don't lift too heavy. You don't want to look muscular.
He's just teasing because he likes you.
Can't you take a joke? You're being overdramatic. What do you mean you can't walk home by yourself?
It's 2022. Shouldn't you be independent?
All my life, I've been told to come home soon or the outcomes may vary. To keep my legs crossed like the Holy Mother Mary, that I should sit back and let the strong man carry.
Bending over backwards to forget all of his sins, boys will be boys. That's where it all begins. I shouldn't be worried about taking the bus home alone or about what I wear determines my fate. Because let me tell you, being catcalled definitely affects your mental state.
That girl you see riding the bus every day? What are the odds of her returning home without a catcall? Actually, who said it was only on her way home? Never mind on the bus. I'd say slim to none, because on that bus she was sitting with her hair up, shoulders back, showing off her chest in a way that made that man sitting across from her pull out his phone and not so subtly start recording. And now she'll be resorting to her own methods of becoming unseen,
As that man thought she was performing.
Say that they'll think I'm too opinionated,
Too emotional?
too dramatic, and then they'll hit us with the famous, is it that time of the month? With this disease plaguing and affecting more than half the human population, it's corrupted their minds and they've become so obsessed with our ovulation.
But don't you dare to even begin to talk about your flow, because all it'll do is make him uncomfortable. My God, when did he become my body's constable? How are our rights so touchable? I thought they were incontestable. And then they hit us with what we thought was the unthinkable.
Turning Roe v. Wade, acting so mindless as if our bodies were an arcade. God, why is this so hard?
That's what she said.
But really, she can't say anything because whenever she speaks, she's labeled as bossy,
Pushy.
Overbearing.
whatever happened to assertive?
Focus.
Dynamic.
Oh, I know. Those words were reserved for the men who can walk alone at night, the men who feel the need to abolish women's rights, the men who can take an Uber without having to be on their phone,
Sharing their locations with their friends, worried they won't make it home. These same men think we're something for them to own, like a football just waiting to be thrown. God forbid we let them see any flaws. Just put on some blush. Come on, don't you want to impress your crush? You must show nothing but perfection, but try to love your imperfections.
Well, that's easier said than done, because in the sun, the transparent lines on our hips become visible. And suddenly, we wish we were invisible. Worried they're gonna say that it's gross, but they still prefer white hips, of course. Just the thought of any marks wasn't included in that statement.
or any statement.
I thought women weren't allowed to make a statement.
Because then they're attention seekers. But
We don't want your unsolicited attention. Last time I checked, I was never asking for it.
We were never asking for it. We did ask for our rights back.
Not for the men to turn their backs on us like we aren't capable of deciding what to do with our bodies.
Get your hands off our bodies.
Protesting shouldn't be our hobby, but since
When did a corpse have more rights than we do? In the land of the living, women are wishing for their own voices to be valued.
Talking to a classmate the other day left me speechless when he said,
Women get enough media attention in general.
to which I responded,
We have no choice but to scream just to be heard and be memorable. But all of our cries fall upon deaf ears, pushing us back further and further by the years. Welcome to the 21st century, where it's almost impossible to walk home, when men are acting like our bodies can just be purchased on Google Chrome, and women's lives have become second to a clump of cells that deserve to have a life of their own.
And when I say no to a sexual act, I'm told to loosen up, but then they expect me not to react, thinking I'm playing hard to get. In reality, I'm contemplating, which is the bigger regret. My outfit showing class or allowing him to shove his head so far up his... Actually, never mind. Just forget.
I'm beginning to think that men don't know what feminism is because that guy will think we're taking something that's his, but we aren't taking, we're adding.
Adding to the idea that pro-equal isn't anti-men.
Adding strong female characters in books that will never get banned.
Oh, my bad. Does that idea bruise the egos of these guys?
But let me remind you that without Hermione, Harry probably would have died, and so might that bride who got married because you told her to. Stop telling women what to do.
Telling us what to do with our voices, with our bodies, with our lives.
Stop.
I like girls with natural makeup.
Oh, you're not wearing any makeup. Are you sick?
You need to show off your body.
But cover up those shoulders. You don't want to distract him.
You should start working out.
But don't lift too heavy. You don't want to look muscular.
He's just teasing because he likes you.
Can't you take a joke? You're being overdramatic.
What do you mean you can't walk home by yourself?
It's 2022. Shouldn't you be independent? Once again, we're no longer grinning. Sound familiar? That was straight from the beginning.
Bars were spit. I will never forget the line that Harry would have died without Hermione. Yes, okay. Judges, can we have some scores for Selena, Lucy, and Megan? A 5, 4.9, 4.95, and 4.9. Okay. Next up, we have Sophia performing 10 Things I Want to Do After I Die.
There are 10 things I want to do after I die. And no, that wasn't a typo. After I die. I know it's a bit more normal to have a bucket list when you're still breathing, but I mean, what's there to do as a ghost if you do it all when you're alive? So I made a list of, you guessed it, 10 things I want to do after I die. And I'm not going with all that sappy stuff that's gonna make you cry. Of course, I would check up on friends and family, but if I were to clock out of life right here, right now, here are the things that I would do. Number 1, I want to watch my own funeral. Okay, that sounds really, really bad, but hear me out on this one. I was a great person. I was kind, helpful, I'm hilarious, hello. And not to mention, I'm a theater kid, what else could you want from me? Point is, in all seriousness, before I go off and explore the places I would have never thought to see, I want one last farewell, something to send me off with, something that will bring down the house. Number 2, I want to travel. Why would I spend all the money when I have to wait in lines and go on airplanes when I can just poof in and out wherever I want? And to top it off, being dead is a great financial decision. Everything is free, nothing costs a dime, and who would stop me? The ghost police? Please. Anyway, you've heard of the term fly on the wall? Well, now get ready for ghost in the room, because it's me. I would be the ghost in the room. Number 3, I want to see every new movie possible. I could just sneak in and watch any movie my heart desires. The remakes, the showings of the older movies, I could see anything, anywhere. And if I ever wanted to be on Broadway, I've got that one down packed. I'll be at every rehearsal, every show, I'd be off book. What else do you need from a leading lady? If you ignore the fact that you wouldn't be able to see me perform, I am perfect. Number 4, I could do anything I couldn't before. For example, I'd have no risk of ever getting FOMO. Like I said before, I can just poof in and out, right? I could go to every red carpet premiere. I could go to the Met Gala. I could even be the best dressed. In my part. Anyway, Blake Lively might steal that one from me again, but that's okay. That's okay. Number 5, I could swim in the ocean. I'm scared of boats, sharks, water I can't see the bottom of, seaweed, jellyfish, basically everything the ocean entails. And the only way I would go in there is if it's the shallow, no way on God's green earth could sharks ever get in here. But if I were a ghost, I could swim anywhere I want. I could face my fears because I'm already dead. What's gonna get me next? Plus, I could swim without ever needing air, and that opens a whole box of opportunities. Number 6, my personal favorite, I could live in IKEA. That's it, I could live in IKEA. I could go shopping wherever I want. I could lie down on the bed and sleep, and that's not just because my mom takes forever, but that's definitely part of it. I've gotten lost in IKEA plenty more times than I'd ever like to admit, and at this point, if I were a ghost, I could just stay there. I've got plenty of rooms to choose from. Someone redecorates at least once a month, and a Winners is just right across the street, so that's a literal walk-in closet, and I would never pass that opportunity. Number 7, I could freak out my friends. I like to call it the horror movie starter pack. You've got all your essentials: bumps in the night, doors opening, strange sounds in empty rooms, lights going on and off, dogs barking, and the feeling of being watched, you know, the usual. My friends would think they're being haunted while I'm sitting there like I'm watching What Would You Do? I mean, John Quinones is somewhere, right? Right? Number 8, I would haunt the school. Let's be real, I don't want to be here half the time anyway, but if I were a ghost and I knew there was no chance of ever getting homework, then maybe I'd show up. We'll see. I could spend my time in different classes, never get in trouble for being out in the hallways, and every school seems to have that haunted room, so I would take credit for that one. And just to mention it, my friends would have to explain to teachers that a ghost stole their homework, and I just want to see how that one would work out. Number 9, I could wear whatever I want. Therefore, I would never have to worry about being catcalled, ever. Again, I find this is an absolute win to this situation. I wouldn't have to deal with anybody saying anything about my outfits. And that's more than I can say right now as I stand here before you as a living, breathing teenage girl who has her human rights decided by men 3 times her age and will never have to go through what I do. And number 10, finally, I would reunite with family. I've lost family and I would like to save the best for last, so I would see my dog first, let him run through the red and straight through my mom's house. Except this time I don't have to clean it up. And then, as I'm sitting there waiting in the car for a ride that I was promised, I would finally hear, "Hi, Sophia." And I would look, and I would finally be able to say those 2 words again that I've been dying to say since I was 15. "Hi, Dad." Point is, I've got a few people I'd like to see. And there we have it, 10 things I want to do after I die. I might even add more, go into the afterlife with a whole book of things, take down suggestions, we'll see. Point is, I have the rest of my life to do things I want, but even after, I have adventure left over. And before I step back and sit down, I'd like to leave you with a question. You don't even have to answer if you don't want to, no hard feelings, I promise. So here it goes. If you could do anything after you die, what would it be?
Thank you, Sophia. Dang, I wasn't expecting something there, and then I was like, got some tears coming down my eyeballs, so thank you. Okay, judges, we need scores for Sophia. 4.8, 4.9, 4.7, and 4.85. Thank you. Okay. Next up is Elizabeth and Ava performing Isn't It Great to Be a Twin?
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Okay.
Hi, my name is... Wait.
Are you a twin?
That's awesome.
So cool.
But wait, which one are you? Isn't it great to be a twin? These are the cold, coarse comments we are constantly met with.
Define by what we are rather than who we are.
Because being a twin is such a win.
You must be best friends.
You never have to be alone. Wait, who's older?
No.
Stop. Being a twin is great, but these comments make it something to hate.
Twin, a noun.
Describing something containing 2 matching corresponding parts. 2 human beings, 1 birth, instantly labeled twins. The first time I was ever recognized for an accomplishment, I was not alone. As I sat on a stage hoping to hear my name called, enough dread bubbling up inside, ready to boil over, scalding hot, as my brain tried to hide the conclusion from my heart.
Of course.
Not 1 name, but 2 were called that day, because how could they decide? How would it be possible to only speak about 1 twin without the other?
This is what daily life is like as a twin.
like night and day. One cannot exist without the other, creating a constant state of codependence. The sheer audacity I must have had to apply to schools away from here, away from home, away from her,
But what about your sister?
was only the first question of many.
How could you leave her? How would she survive? How would you?
When I got in, my sister didn't. My hopes and dreams of individuality packed their bags, called it a day, and hopped on the first train out of my brain.
Because how could this package deal ever change? But does it have to be this way? Similar slights often come to light, creeping out of the shadows of my life.
I couldn't invite you to my party because I didn't have enough spots.
To invite you both.
I sludged through these syrups, sticky slice of my identity.
How can we ever be different, her versus me, like variants of each other, an alternate version from another universe, almost with the same name?
The yin and the yang of life come together only to be different all the same.
But that difference is quickly enveloped by the web spun by the spiders of society, slowly swallowing our individuality, not to mention the media.
The Weasley twins, aren't they great?
One dies. Oh, but what about Liv and Maddie?
Oh yeah, one's 40 and the other bratty.
Always desperate to label us as one thing, twins. Isn't it great to be a twin?
Who's smarter?
Who's more sophisticated? Who's more attractive, athletic, amazing? Because to escape her shadow ever pending, you must always be ascending. Will this comparison never end?
Leaving only a broken identity left to men?
No, stop. But isn't it great to be a twin?
Seems like such a win.
It can't be that bad.
I have a sister.
Brother,
Cousin.
isn't that the same? It's not.
Do you share the same friends?
Do the same activities.
Have people never bothered to tell you apart from your sibling?
Imagine that. Oh, hey, Nia.
I'm not Nia. How's it going, Sophia? How's the bio homework?
I wouldn't know. As if this comparison could ever amount to the complex, captivating, confusing labyrinth of twindom.
Full of twists and turns, never quite knowing where you end and the other begins.
But isn't it great to be a twin? But it's not all that bad.
You've got a constant companion, ready to fight any battle.
An accomplice and alibi for when that partner breaks your heart. But most of all, you've got a twin, and not many people do.
So here's what you can do.
Do your part.
We are each our own person.
You're not seeing double. So next time you meet a pair of twins, think before you speak. And don't just say, isn't it great to be a twin?
Okay. Isn't it great to be a twin? Scores, please, judges. 5. Started off with a 5. A second 5. 4.9 and 4.9. Another round of applause. Awesome. Okay. We are moving right along to Kevin, who will be performing a poem called Understand and Acknowledge. So welcome, Kevin.
Understand and let us be. Let us learn so we can teach. Make us believe so we can dream. I wonder where I have to go because I know it's not the stream of where I want to be. Have you ever noticed the world around us? The world around us that makes us blind to the world around us? Society now is a heavy blanket. Specifically, corporations are forming the heavy blanket. Not one that comforts, but one that blocks, muffles, weighs down everything that nature needs, that we need. The blanket's so heavy that when it lands on us, the pressure makes it impossible to remove it. And we are so blank. We're on the same path, but nobody acknowledges that we're lost. So it's like being on a treadmill, where we run the same path, same spot, same day, every day. A cycle that is locking us up in a cave that is blocking out the sunlight. And when I take a step outside the cave, that's when I become the peculiar, the different. Blank. So it's scary because now we would have to move along with the majority. Because when social media starts spotlighting me as the peculiar, that's when things become really scary. So now, we should urgently acknowledge the hollow society and fix it. Whoa. But before that, please, stop us from snapping and ticking and talking and scrolling, because all it really does is lock us in a cave. It starts from a raindrop where we start spending time on entertainment. But when we can't control ourselves and go on for like 1 hour, 2 hour, 10 hour, 20 hours, 100 hours, 200 hours, 1,000 hours, 2,000 hours, that's when raindrops become puddles, puddles to ponds, and ponds maybe even to streams. Rather, why not? Help us explore that it's not too far to investigate the world that exists behind and beyond our lives. Why not? Assist us to dream, because it's the possibility of having a dream come true that makes life entertaining. But why? Isolate us from society, because all we get from isolation is losing the opportunity to explore and to figure out the possibility that a dream comes true is not just fiction. So let's bring empathy to our society and make an end to apathy with the conversation and socialization skills we have and that we seek. And that will be the spark of inspiration towards regeneration, and by the spark of inspiration and the curiosity to wonder and to explore outside the cave, that will start forming our uniqueness. It might be difficult now, but once the society, the corporations start understanding and acknowledging our hollow society, the next step is to change. So then, to stand up and speak until they listen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Kevin. Judges, scores. We're going to start it off with two 4.6s, a 4.3, and a 4.4. Awesome, thank you. Okay, we're going to keep it moving right along. Our next piece is called Do Better by Daniela.
You're ruining your life, they said. Do better. They told me that they can't even recognize their own daughter anymore, repeating and repeating those words till they left me sore. I was sitting and listening as my heart tore. They told me that they hate my personality and the person that I am. I didn't raise you to be like that, they said. Do better. They told me that I'm not even close to being a decent woman, and that's when the stream of tears began. I sat there in pieces as my emotions ran. Say yes, say okay, and do as I say. You just need to obey, they said. Do better. Not listening is a crime. Apparently all I do is whine. I listened as their harsh words traveled down my spine. You don't do enough. Do you want to succeed? Because you definitely don't act like it, they said. Do better. I try my best just to make them proud of me, but yet they don't believe in my capacity. At the end of the day, I just want them to let me be. What's wrong with you? You need to try harder, they said. Do better. Talking as if I do absolutely nothing. They started bringing up my grades and school life into the conversation, just hoping I would do better within my education, just so that I could build myself a reputation. All while wishing this whole thing was my imagination. You need to be more like them, they said. Do better. They started talking about their friends, kids, and how they all run through school with honor rolls, all while I'm just trying to reach my own goals. But this whole conversation had me wanting to dig my own hole. You disappoint me, Daniela. Do better, they said. Respect is not just given, it is something that is earned. Whether you're blood, family or not, that respect can be turned. But by the end of this all the words just burned. So I'm sorry, but I can't just do better. Thank you.
Well, you're doing just fine, Daniela. Thank you. That was beautiful. Okay, judges, we need scores for Daniela. 4.9, 4.9, 4.85, and 4.7. Awesome. Okay, next up to grace our stage, we have Avi with the poem What It Means to Be Alive.
The definition of the word alive states, living, existing, not dead nor lifeless. Since the beginning of time, we've asked ourselves one simple question: what does it mean to be alive? To cope with the feeling of the vast unknown, we've searched for every answer for our own. We've created gods and deities to give us purpose, to devote our lives, to volunteer our service. We're taught that fate is set in stone, written like a book long ago. But what if the sun only burns because of nuclear fusion and the moon is just some rock? That any day life as you know it can come to a conclusion, but the universe won't stop? What if every plant and animal breathe not because there is something grander at stake, but simply because it chose to be? That it is only a coincidence that today you wake because every day we risk death like a lottery. If we all expired, the sun would still rise and the grass would still perspire. Even when it does not meet human eyes, life continues to inspire. But if life is just existing, not dead nor lifeless, why does it matter if we are short-lived while our universe is timeless and forever will survive? 6 million years it took us to evolve. It could have not happened at all. Less than a century, maybe even less, is all the time that we have left. I guess you'd probably be wondering, what is the point of life if humanity feels like a throwaway joke that could end at any hour? But there is a second definition of the word alive. Having quality of life, vivid, vibrant. You see, the importance of life is that if it didn't exist, every wonder of this world would have gone missed. Whoever created these cosmos alone must have known its work too great, left unknown. Life is beautiful, vivid, and vibrant the way we admire the evening sunset and the moonrise that falls at dusk. We've created stories from the stars that scatter our sky and watch as the clouds pass us by. I'd like to think that the stars burn in the sky just for us to see them, but the stars don't realize they shine. Maybe they're just fiery balls of gas, but when given meaning, they become more than just mass. To be alive means to have quality of life, vivid, vibrant, so when you ask me what it means to be alive, maybe there is no requirement. Maybe life's meaning is as vast as the universe entails or as intricate as a snowflake's details. Maybe life has no meaning until you give it one. So I'll leave you with one last question. What does life mean to you?
Thank you so much, Avi. We will all be contemplating. Pardon my English. Okay, scores. 4.8, 4.8, 4.5, and 4.6. Okay, we are going to move on to Sophia, who will be performing their poem, Why English is Not Enjoyable.
Perhaps in 1,000 years, we won't need English. The class. Yes, the language is important, it needs to be taught, but if I'm being honest, this course is grass. Yes, grass is the word I chose for my thoughts to keep the rhyme scheme, the rhyme patterns, the flow of speech. For the analysis of stanzas and verses is so important. But memorizing each literary term seems so out of reach. Wait till I start confusing these stupid similes, synecdoches in this stupid speech. Now, terms and rhymes are not awful to analyze, but during those short story units, you can hear my cries. Cries of pain and sorrow, trying to avoid the next page, but there's always one more sentence, one more page, one more paragraph. Then finding each protagonist, antagonist, it fills me up with rage. Sure, some books make you feel like emotions, make you cry, make you laugh, but reading books and short stories is so draining. After getting forced into reading, no wonder I'm complaining. Getting forced into reading is the worst, not having a choice in what is read, given options that have already been read millions of times. I'm so sick of these stupid rhymes. After reading everything, there's reflections, write-ups, essays that I dread, reflecting on a book, on a theory, on a topic created by someone who's already dead, then having to incorporate those core competencies that nobody really cares about. Then writing, reflection, creating sentences. I just want to be done. Done with the writing, done with the reading, done with reflection, then I start to doubt. Proofreading, revising, rereading, the sentences get confusing. My reflection does not really make any sense, so restart, rewrite, repeat. I start to feel like I'm losing time, losing sleep, losing faith, losing marks. But you must get the marks back, right? So you write what they want to hear, using words and phrases that are pleasant to the ear. During the stress, I start to stream with tears. While my tears are streaming, I get drenched in fear. Fear of failing, fear of not meeting these expectations, resulting in no career, no job, no future, no money, no future on the spinning spear. Sure, English is important, learning to read and to write, but during the spoken
word that has been written just in spite of those core competencies with the end barely in sight. I hate staying up late just a couple more nights. After all, it's just an English class, just one course. After presenting this, I will have no remorse. The course of analyzing, where madness is reinforced, just one stupid course was consuming so much of my mental force.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sophia. Judges, what are we thinking? 4.7, 4.7, 4.5, 4.75. Woo! Thank you, Sophia. Okay, next up, we have Kia with Dear Kia Yesterday.
Not that tall. Dear Kia, yesterday. Yesterday sucked. I know. Yesterday felt like a punch in the face, or like you were running and running and running in place, like the universe went out of its way to go against you, or like that aching feeling of just wanting to be in your bedroom, like a pillow with no cold side in the record-breaking heat, or like the pounding and pounding of a nervous heartbeat. Yesterday sucked, I know. One step at a time, they say. Find the positives, they say. When you hit rock bottom, you can only go up from there, they say. Yet what they don't say is if you take it one step at a time, the pain is slow and dreadful, and to find the positives, you must dig through all the muddy dirt of life just to find they're only the broken fragments of the true gems. And their worth? It's nothing compared to the debt that you owe. And when you're at rock bottom, you don't even have enough strength or motivation to climb back up, because with every broken bone in your given body, each movement sends shocking pains down your spine, as if it's telling you, stay down. Don't move. You're too hurt. You can't do this. You're not enough. You'll never be enough. Just stop. Everything needs to stop. Make it stop. Please. They don't tell you the hard parts, because if they did, you wouldn't want to do it. And they know that. And yet, here I am. Here you are. You made it. Through all of the exhaustion, through all of the salty, pain-filled tears, through all of the hated mirror reflections, and the anxiety accumulating over the years, through all the social media infections and the pain of being stuck in bed, through all of life's imperfections, and the insulting words that keep screaming in your head. Through all the running back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back. You made it. You should be proud of yourself. I'm proud of you. You fought hard yesterday, and the day before that, and the day before that, and the day before that. And you'll fight hard today as well. I will fight hard today as well. I will take it one step at a time. I will look for the positives, even if it means I have to go head first into the mud, and I'll work my way up from the bottom and scrape together whatever motivation or strength I can find. And I'll block out all the noise. But what I will not do is give up, because I deserve another day on this earth, and so do you. And I will get it, and so will you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kia. Okay, judges, we need some scores for that beautiful poem. We're starting with a 4.8, 4.85, 4.7, and 4.7. Thank you, Kia. Okay, next up, we have James, and their poem is titled Asian Counterattacks.
All right. Look at me. I know you suppose I'm good at math. Is that because he's Asian? If you keep thinking like that, you'll suffer my wrath. But it's all right, since all along my path, people give me a lot of crap.
but it ain't make me mad. You're telling me Asians can't drive, but how good can you be when all you care about is being alive? Fight through the hellish nights trying to survive. Some even end up on the street without a goodbye. You tell me that I'm cheap. Bro, money doesn't grow on trees or leak right into your suite. Some call me a freak when I speak for the weak, and some Asians have a bill of $2 tip. It is okay, I don't even trip. Why you naming me rice boy and have no idea that we don't have much choice? Either we eat rice or we be destroyed. What are you gonna do if you are this boy? No English is a joke you use on me. Please, 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 please show me some mercy. You said that talking to me like talking to a tree. Why you didn't know how crazy I have studied? I guess you lack information when you call me a crazy rich Asian. Maybe you should watch your definitions. Why you never have been in my position? Don't laugh at some Asians who have slanted eyes. They might be small, but have a beautiful sight. How your whole life? Why you deny what's truly hidden inside? Dude, are you Asian? You must be Chinese. Dude, are you American? You must say cheese. Seriously, who came up with this ridiculous tendency? It is absolutely an absurd disease. Stop calling it the Asian flu. Discrimination is all you can do. Don't worry, I won't stop your pursuit. I won't break you in two with my kung fu. Thank you.
Okay, James, thank you. Judges, scores, 5. Start off with 2 5s. 4.8 and a 4.9. Good job, James. Okay.
Hey everyone, I'm sorry, I have to interrupt for a sec. I know we're running low on time, but we have 4 more poets, and I'd really, really like to hear what they have to say. They've worked really hard. English classes, I am going to ask you to stay behind and stack the chairs. The more people we have to do it, the faster it will go. If the bell rings, please just hang tight. Please be respectful, and I will announce the winners tomorrow in announcements, okay? English classes, you are asked to stay to help clean up. Without further ado, go.
Okay, next to the stage, Brianna Brill. And the poem is titled, Hey Sexy.
Look at that ass. Come here, girl. Most of us have experienced this, and if you haven't, you probably weren't cursed with the blessing of being a woman. Catcalling is a centuries-old phenomena used to objectify and assert dominance over women. Because the best way to assert dominance is yelling at me from your 2002 Ford Bronco with half the front bumper missing. Girls aren't taught about catcalling at a young age, so the first time it happens, it can be shocking. When you and your friends are walking home from middle school as a 50-something-year-old man says, he loves the ones with small boobs. Or as you get on the bus to go home when the man with the white beard that reeks of week-old cigarette ashes says, there's lots of room for you next to me. There is no question of whether or not this will happen to a woman, it's when. But children shouldn't be taught about these types of things. They're too innocent. And yet children are the ones experiencing it. You can't teach these kids what grab her by the pussy means. That's too vulgar. But if it's so vulgar, why have we been hearing these comments since we were 12? I'm just trying to get somewhere, Jerry. Please don't talk to me. Even with that luscious, greasy hair and tight Old Navy t-shirt with holes in the stomach, I doubt your comments are actually going to work. Being catcalled presents an internal dilemma. Do I ignore it and continue walking so he'll move on to the next innocent woman? Or should I flip him off and call him a freak and risk getting shanked? It's just a comment, though. It's harmless, right? And yet catcalling leads to a fear, haunting thoughts of what could happen. Boys, when you're walking home at night, it's important to look out for bears and cougars. But girls, cross the street before you reach the van parked on the side of the street, but cross again after so you don't have to walk past that long driveway since someone could be hiding there. And don't forget to walk with your keys between your fingers for self-defense, and do not put your headphones in. Walk faster. Walk faster. Run. Is there someone behind you? Turn around. Double check. Triple check. Stop. When a room full of women is asked if they've been catcalled, they will all say yes. Many of them will have stories of being followed and stalked. Many of them will remember the first time it happened, and many of them will be younger than you and I. Just because you don't get attention from women other than your mother does not mean you have the right to catcall us in the streets. We are allowed to wear a skirt and not hear about how good our ass looks in it. We're allowed to wear tight shirts and not be told that we have big tits. We're allowed to be hot and not hear about it. Because guess what? We know.
Okay, thank you so much, Brianna. Scores, a 5, a 5, a 5, and 4.85. Woo! Okay, next to the stage we have Rihanna, and the poem is titled Smile.
I can't fake a smile anymore. I'm at the point in my life where the words that come out of my mouth don't match what I'm feeling. I'm at the point in my life where I always feel sick and my head just doesn't stop spinning. I'm at the point in my life where my nightmares are better than my dreams, and I'm at the point in my life where I just don't feel seen. I can't fake a smile anymore. The nights you spend in your bed turn into days quickly. The things you used to love turn into the things you dread the most. It's not just your mind that's failing you, but every single sense in your body. You can't fake a smile anymore. You can't eat the food your mother gives you. You can't speak to your friends when they try to console you. You can't feel the hand resting on your shoulder, trying so hard to shake this numbness. You can't fake a smile anymore. You try to push it all away, but you notice that one thing stays. Her hand, placed on my shoulder like a warm blanket in the freezing cold winter, soon becomes the arms that hold me every night, the ones that gracefully drag me out of bed with care and warmth, the ones that help me dream of the future, the ones that help me want to have a future. The tension in my body relaxes. The sun has melted all the snow. I am no longer alone, and I have her hand to hold. Her hand that pulls me out of my room to the sunlight and the moon, to the skies and the stars, to the streets and the towns, a place where I can finally move. Or so I thought. I look up, one by one the snowflakes fall. Winter has returned. They lay their eyes on us as they whisper behind their backs, as they point their little fingers, not caring one single bit that maybe it is none of their business. To others, that's the wrong hand to hold. To others, those are the wrong arms to sleep in. To others, this is the wrong life to be living. To others, if it's going to be this way, I am better off. Better off despaired, better off alone, being scared, being unknown, having no one looking out for me, having no one to take care of me in this scary, messed up world. But this sadness, this cycle, this anxiety to others, it's better than her, right? I can't fake a smile anymore because I am finally happy and I am finally at peace. So I don't care about their dirty looks, their dirty glares, their messed up words, and their unfair thoughts. I don't care about anything they have to say. I can't fake a smile anymore because she makes the smile on my face finally real.
Oh, that was so tender. Thank you, Rihanna. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Judges, we need scores. 4.8, 4.9, 4.8, 4.85. Woo! Okay, we have 2 poets left. Our second last poet is Anita, and their poem is titled The Stage.
I slowly make my way to the stage, hearing the murmuring of the crowd fade. Stress courses to my veins until only jitters are left as remain. My head filled with every mistake I could make, my thoughts growing empty with each step I take. I see the audience hiding in the shadows, their faces blurred, muttering words, all left unheard. I sing out my first note, filling every corner of the room, although my eyes do not see the surrounding walls. My eyes do not only change the setting, but everything I see. My actions and thoughts are no longer from me. Books, movies, and games cannot compare to the freeing escapism singing seems to share. Feeling, acting, and singing through a character provides a stunning mask for anyone to wear. I struggle to hold a note, feeling the freedom escape from my lungs. As the tension from the desperate need for air increases, cracks form around my perfect world. I can see the real world whirl in bits and pieces, as both reality and imagination whirl. I spot the audience hiding in the shadows, their faces blurred, muttering words, all left unheard. The peaceful melody from the piano fills the silence, pulling my mind to a field filled with swaying violets. Having regained my breath, I continue my performance, narrating this story to the audience being of the utmost importance. The song comes to an end with my final held notes. As I relish the final seconds of my performance, my world begins to fade. The room is filled with the bittersweet applause from the audience. My song has reached its end, forcing me back to the reality I cannot seem to bend. With one final bow, I reluctantly leave the stage, having to join the audience. Our faces blurred, muttering words, all left unheard.
Thank you for blessing the stage and for talking. This is for Anita. 4.6, 4.7, 4.7, and 4.5. Woo! Okay, we got the last but not least poet for today. Their poem is called Extinguished, and it is going to be performed by Natalie. Welcome, Natalie.
I want to give a trigger warning because I will be talking about burnout. Yeah. Okay. As a child, my thoughts were wild. Often I dreamed because I deemed that everything seemed as though it gleamed. The world around me was so bright. Everything in sight would ignite my curious mind. I aspired to do it all and grow tall, be strong and get along. As I grew, I gained new ambitions, and the want to be accomplished grew. It was as if a fire had been sparked by an oblivious and ambitious child, and my goals had been marked. So I embarked on a journey to succeed. As I grew, no matter what I pursued, I made sure to delude my motivations, which could not be restricted by limitations. I thought I could take on any situation. I would not permit myself to quit, and I would commit to everything because I had grit. This fire grew higher each time I required impossible feats. My want to accomplish led me to demolish my stable sanity. This fire drove me to succeed and find the need to exceed at everything. This fire expanded, so I felt stranded, alone. Too much was demanded. I felt commanded by my friends and family and by my ego. These unreasonable expectations, which inspired my aspirations to be great and gain every desirable trait, could not collate. This encouraging light inside of me might take me whole and take control of my mind, my overwhelmed, unsure, and driven mind. I was taught that I ought to get involved in every club, sport, class that I could. As I grew, I kept going, and my accomplishments began showing, and my fire seemed to be slowing. So I took on more before I could care about my mentality, even if it led me to insanity, and I was stumbling. My world was crumbling. I knew I had to achieve, and I believed that I could. But as a child, I misunderstood that I would be defeated by myself because of these infeasible wants. As I grew, stress, anxiety, and adrenaline kindled the fire and took my entire self-worth. I was never enough. No matter how tough and rough I tried to be, everything I wanted when I was 3 was impossible. Now I see. As I grew, this fire blew, strong, violent, and enraged, and I took advantage of this powerful motivation, but this led to the aggravation of my mental health and strength. I told myself I need to keep going. I told myself it doesn't matter if the stress is showing. I told myself it doesn't matter what I'm undergoing. I told myself I need to achieve perfection. I told myself so many lies because I was wrong. All along, the stress, anxiety, and adrenaline rendered me so overwhelmed that the fire was suffocated by lack of oxygen, because I could no longer breathe, and the tears rolling down my face fell to the roaring flames. Instantly, the fire went out, and I thought I could go without this raging motivation, without the overpowering flames, but I was wrong. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, I felt cold, alone, isolated. I felt numb. I could no longer feel my hot, tear-stained face, the hollow feeling throughout my body, and my tight chest, which hindered my breathing. Even though I was surrounded by people who crowded to help me, I felt like I was in a dark and hopeless, parallel universe. I had become the very image of failure that my young self had imagined. It was as if I were a traitor to my aspirations. Because of burnout, I couldn't sleep, but there was nothing worth staying awake for. Because of burnout, all of my hard work seemed futile. Feel any feelings that felt real. The embers produced a smoke, making me choke, gasping for air. I could no longer repair my personal damage or see an advantage to trying. As I grew, I let the sparks of my friends and family and their oxygen help spark the embers once more, creating a small and gentle fire that I had a desire to care for the flames, to listen to what I needed as I proceeded with the next steps of my life. If you ever feel cold, alone, isolated, know you are not alone, but listen to you and you can make it through.
Okay, thank you so much, Natalie. Scores from our judges. 4.7, 4.75, 4.7, and 4.8. Awesome. Okay, I know everybody is eager to go, so just one more big round of applause for our poets and their bravery and their work.